In this video, we're going to be taking just a real quick look at a little project that I think you guys will like. What we're going to do is show you how to create this little Christmas bow. And it's really easy to do using CorelDRAW and of course with EasyStone also. And so what we're going to do first of all is set the size of our bitmap. Now this is just an image I grabbed off of Google Images. We're going to go to the Specialty tab and choose Set Size and set the size overall width to be 6 inches for this example. So there's our 6-inch bow. We're going to click on lock image and that will lock our image down so I can't accidentally click on it and move it. Now when you're using images, we're just using this as a guide. This isn't written in stone. So this is merely just a guide for us. So what we're going to do is come in with our 3-point curve tool. Super easy tool to use even for an absolute novice. And all we do is click where we want the start point, drag to where we want the end point, and our third point is wherever we want it to be. So we're going to do the same thing. Click and drag 3 points. So there's the first, the start, the end, and the middle. 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 And the start, and the end, and the middle. You can see just how easy it is just going from start to end to the middle. And again, we're just using it as a rough guide. So whatever we want to do, we have complete flexibility here. And of course, once we get it roughed in, if you want to come back in and make some adjustments, we have that flexibility to do that as well. Now, you can't really see what's going on here. So what we're going to do is take all those individual lines and let's bring them over here so we can see better what we've got going on. So this is our basic rough draft for our bow. And then all we're going to do is we're going to come in here and drag out an oval shape, however big we want it to be. We're going to position that in the middle here. So we'll give the oval shape a color. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and use our Smart Fill tool, and we're going to fill that in this with orange. And then let's change our color to something else. Any random color, doesn't matter. We're going to click here and here and here and here. All right? So now you can kind of see how this bow is coming together. So what we need to do is we need to pick up our red, our orange, and our light blue. So we're going to click on a red shape, hold the shift key down and click on an orange one, hold the shift key down and click on our light blue, come over here to our selections tab and mark those objects, then select the whole design here and click on create selection. It'll pick up all the objects that match the fill color of all of the ones that we marked. So it's going to pick up all orange, red, and light blue objects, which it has now done. So our original lines are still left intact. Then what we want to do is take the two red pieces here. If we go into wireframe mode, you'll see this better. We're going to take those two and weld them together, and we're going to take those two and weld them together. Let's go back to enhance mode. So how quick and easy and simple was that to create your little bow shape? So now what we want to do is we want to create a little bit of space between each one of these shapes just for fun. That's because I think it'll look better. So what we're going to do is select all of these. Let's go ahead and apply an outline to them. Let's say 8 points, like so. And then we have a really nifty tool here called Vinyl Essentials. Let's open up Vinyl Essentials. And we have this little function called Vinyl Spacer. So we're going to select that, click on Vinyl Spacer. I'll tell you what, before we do that, let's make a copy of that. We may want to use this down the road. So we'll go ahead and modify this one. And we'll go Vinyl Spacer. And we'll change all of our colors. And there you have just a really cute, simple little bow. It took absolutely no time at all and very, very basic CorelDRAW skills. So just a couple of minutes we're able to create that. Now if we want to apply rhinestones to this, here's what we're going to do. We're going to come over here to EasyStone. And you can see here we have our stone size is currently 2.6, which is SS6 size. So we're going to right click on SS10 to set our stone size to 3.4. And then if we want to, we could just come in here and we could just go ahead and apply a simple outline of stones. If you want to do it that way, that you could certainly do. But what if I want to apply a fill of rhinestones? Because that is always the most challenging when it goes to filling in a shape. So let me show you how we're going to do this. We're going to do two pieces just so you get a really good understanding of how to use it. So we're going to take our first piece here, come to the stone fill tab. We're going to do one island fill, and this amount of offset is determined by the stone size and the spacing. So we're going to do half of this distance by holding down the Alt key and clicking on Island Fill. And then we're going to take that shape and click on Island Fill again, and it's just going to offset, 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 offset. Now the original we don't need, so we're going to go ahead and delete that, and that leaves us with these, and all we're going to do is select all of those, and then we're going to come in here. Let's change our stone color. Let's do blue, just so we can see this really well. And then we're going to go to the stone tab, and we're going to hold down the Alt key, which will detect corners and add stones. And you can see that's the default result that we get, which honestly isn't bad. And because we have the respace tool, we can fix this very easily. So let me show you how we're going to go about doing that. So we're going to select the whole design. Let's go ahead and delete our stone paths. And very easily you can see there are a few rows here that need some attention. So this one, I'm going to add a stone. This one, I'm going to add at least one. That one I'm going to add one. This one I'm going to add one. That one I'm not. This one I am. This one I am. This one I am. So all we're going to do here is grab our freehand pick tool, and we're just going to come in here and select that row of stones that I want to edit. And then let's see here. Looks like we need this one and this one. There we go. So we have this whole row, and watch what happens when I choose respace. Now let's see here. Oh, okay, I know what happened. I grabbed a stone from the first row. There we go. Now we'll hit respace. And now you can see those stones are nicely spaced apart. So we'll select one, hold our shift key down. We'll select the others, respace, delete. We'll select these, respace, delete. And I'll show you something here. We'll hit respace. And then you see it might be a little bit tight there. We can't actually see. Let's go ahead and delete that. We can't actually see because we skipped a step. We should. Once you've applied your stones, you should always do a check spacing. All right, so now we can better see what we're working with here. So we took care of those overlaps anyhow. Respace, delete, and we'll select these stones. So you can see that respace tool really helps us take care of our fills here quite easily. And once you get used to working with CorelDRAW and understanding all the shortcuts as far as holding your shift key down and little things like that, this will all come to you quite naturally. So we'll hit respace, delete, and we have one more row to do here. And we'll hit respace, delete. And you can see now we're left with a really nice fill part of our bow for this side. Let's go ahead and do the middle part, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to go to the stone fill tab. We're going to do one offset, Alt key, hit island fill again. Get rid of the original. That leaves us these two pieces that we can then come in here and add stones to. Okay, and then we'll come in here and we'll delete our stone paths. Now we have two overlapping stones here, so we're going to just come in here and select these two stones and come to the editing tab and delete overlaps. And the same thing down here. We've got two stones that are overlapping, so we'll do the same thing, delete overlaps there as well. And then if we really wanted to, we could come in here and we could do a respace there just to space those stones out a little bit better, and we could do a respace there as well. And that's really as good as you're going to get unless you introduce a different size stone to get a little bit denser of a fill. So then we'll go ahead and do this piece just to show you another example, just kind of hit home what we're doing here. So we're going to go one island fill. We're going to do Alt key. Then we click on island fill again. And then we go ahead and delete all of these. That leaves us those. We select all of those. Come to the stone tab. Alt key, add stones. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and delete stone paths. Then what we're going to do is come in here and we're going to check spacing. And then we're going to do the same type of thing that we did previously. Look for these rows where we think there needs to be some attention. So I think these rows here are pretty loose as far as their stone densities go. So we'll increase those a little bit. So we'll just come in here and select this row of stones. Go to the editing tab and respace. And we'll go ahead and hit delete. And we'll select this row. And we'll hit respace and delete that path. We'll select this row, respace, and delete. Thank goodness for that respace tool, because it sure makes it easy to fix these little problem areas a lot easier than doing it manually. Now, we're going to switch gears a little bit because you see this area here, we're going to actually switch gears a little bit and go in the opposite direction. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and select these going horizontally and using respace. And that will go ahead and fix that. So go ahead and add one stone. And then we'll select all of these going horizontally. And then sometimes we even have to come back and go back and do it vertically again. Just depends on the situation. So we'll go ahead and add one more stone there. Respace, delete. And let's see here. So maybe what we'll do is we'll try going this direction. Respace, delete. And then maybe what we'll do here for this, see, sometimes, like I said, sometimes you got to switch back and forth to see what's going to work best. But we'll respace and drop one stone and then hit delete. Because what we want to do is we want to fill in this little gap here. So we'll have to figure out how best to handle that. So we'll go ahead and drop that in. And we'll respace these going this direction. Maybe that'll get the job done. And yes, I think it did. So there you go. So then let's just go ahead and throw a weed box around and just take a gander of what we're doing here. And at least you get the idea. We'll go ahead and change those back to crystal. And you can see we have a nice filled top part of our bow here. And then we would just go ahead and do the same process to the bottom part of our bow. Now there is one trick that I do want to point out to you, as long as we're going to talk about this. There is a trick. Anytime that you're working with rhinestone designs like this, we want to simplify the design as much as possible. Now, if you look at the top part, the top two pieces of our bow, those are pretty, what I would consider pretty simple shapes. And you saw that when we applied stones to them, after we did the island fill, it actually worked pretty good. Now down here, I can tell you from experience that when you're dealing with an odd shape, this is an odd shape. And the reason it's an odd shape is because it's not a circle and it's not a rectangle. If you look at the top two pieces of our bow that we did, the fill for those two pieces was pretty simple, and that is because if you look at the shape, really it's pretty rectangular. Obviously it's not a perfect rectangle, but it's kind of rectangular, where these down here is not rectangular. So there's a trick, and I want to show you that trick, and we're only going to do one piece of this design because I want to just emphasize the point. So what we're going to do here is we're going to just try something here. We're not going to go right to the corner here. We're going to come in, and what we're going to do is just draw a little line. Let's do it right there. Okay. And then we're going to use the Smart Fill tool and click here and here. And what we're doing is we're actually splitting these two halves. So let's go ahead and peel this away so we can see this. And let's go into wireframe mode so we can see what we're talking about here. So we actually have two pieces here. All right, so we're going to do the same thing that we did previously. And remember what we did? We went to the Stone Fill tab. We Alt-click Island Fill. And then same thing here. One, Alt-click Island Fill. Okay, so the original piece we don't need. Remember that. And then we're left with these two pieces. And then we're going to click on Island Fill, and we're going to click on Island Fill. So now what we're going to do is we're going to select both pieces, come to the Stone tab, and Shift Add Stones. And you can see this is the result that we get now. And if we come in here and we'll delete stone paths, get rid of our stone paths, you see, because we actually split this into two, we get a fairly reasonable result. We don't have a whole lot of editing to do. Yes, there are a couple of overlapping stones, and yes, there is a little bit of editing that we're going to have to do, but not extensive. Now watch the difference between this and just taking the original piece and doing the same thing. So here's the original piece. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Stone Fill tab. We're going to offset and get rid of the original piece. And then we're going to take this and hit Island Fill. And then all we did was we come in here and we're going to go to the Stone tab and hit Alt Add Stones. Now, do you see the difference here? Let's go ahead and let's delete our stone paths. Now, do you see the difference in the result? Let's go maybe over to here. Do you see the difference how much cleaner this one is compared to this one? We have overlapping stones here, 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 here. There's a lot more work to do here than there is here. And the reason for that obviously is because we simplified the shape first because I knew this would be problematic. So in certain situations, if it's easier to simplify the shape, that's the best way to go. So let's go ahead and just clean this up so we can just show you how it's done. Let's get rid of this one because we're not going to use that one. So anytime you can simplify the shape, that's the way to go. All right, so we're just going to drop a stone there, and we will respace in this direction. So that's step one. And yes, we should have deleted our overlapping stones first. So let's actually go do that using our check spacing feature because we have lots of overlaps that we need to address first that we can't see. So let's just go ahead and select that and check spacing. There's 30 of them. So that takes care of that. Now we can come in and finish this up. So we'll go ahead and select. Let's see here. Which one? Let's go this way. And we'll hit respace. And I'm going to drop one stone because the stones are a little bit close together. So we'll go ahead and go this direction. And hit respace and delete. And let's see here. We'll go, what do we want to do here? Let's go this way. And we'll hit respace. And we'll hit delete. I guess we're going to drop that stone. We'll do it again. Respace, delete. Here we're going to put this stone. We're going to respace these going this direction. Respace, delete. And then we'll do this line going horizontally. And respace, delete. This line here I think is a little bit too close. So we'll go ahead and respace these stones, and then we'll subtract 1. And that will give us just a little bit more room there. And I might even do that on this line as well. Looks a little bit tight. So we'll go ahead and respace and drop 1. And here I'm going to try and add 1. So let's space these out. And then I'm going to try and get an extra 1 in this line. Even though it's a little bit tight there, I'm going to go ahead and live with that, just like that. So a little bit of modification there. Let's go ahead and respace these. And that, I think, will pretty well take care of it. So then what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and select this, and we'll bring it over here. And we'll just kind of hand place it right there. And then we'll go ahead and get rid of these shapes. We don't need that. And let's go ahead and simulate that as well. Okay. So yeah, you can kind of see how that bow is going to come together pretty nicely. And we would do the same thing to the other side, and that would finish off the bow. So hopefully you get a better idea of how we utilize these tools here in EasyStone. And of course, creating the bow from scratch originally, but then also being able to create the fill, the rhinestone fill and fill in your bow, just using that respace tool. And then also think about simplifying the design in the various shapes that you want to fill, make them more rectangular and circular, and that will help also when you go to fill in the design as well. Thanks for watching.